And I've also been affected by Hans Zimmer's The Bible series score with Lauren Balfe and Lisa Gerrard, and hearing what they had to do and what they brought to the Bible series soundtrack for the mini-series, it was very, very beautiful. And I remember that themes were very important to Roma Downey and Hans Zimmer when they were working on ideas for the project. And Roma Downey mentioned that when Abraham and Isaac have the sacrifice, they wanted the same score to be shared with the crucifixion and carrying the cross, so it's symbolic of the Father sacrificing the Son. And I thought that was very reverent and very moving and very intentional, and I put intention into this whole project. Everything was done intentionally. Even if I didn't know what I was doing when I first began the score, I eventually knew what I wanted as I was going. And I knew that as I started going through the score, this is a big moment, this needs this tune, this needs this melody that parallels this concept. And I knew that Peter, there's a song that I wrote called Peter's Song. I knew that Peter needed to let his voice ring in the happy moments of the work when he's encountering Jesus and things like that, but it also needed to have a dark and minor twist when he was rejecting Jesus and denying him 3 times. It needed to come across to the listener that this is Peter's song, turning to a darker sound, reflecting the agony that he's experiencing. And also with Mary at the tomb, this song is called Come to Him, and this is a moment where she's in her deep sorrow because she can't find the body of Jesus, that she doesn't know where he is. And the message of Come to Him is when you're full of sorrow and despair and you don't know where to turn, come to Him. And even come to Him when you're having the greatest day of your life. It goes both ways, where you come to Him in your sorrow and in your joy. And I wanted to put that melody in there, and when I was crafting these songs, they came really quickly at the beginning. I did most of the work in like a month with crafting these 3 songs, but without the absent of the lyrics. And I went back at the very end of the project after scoring all 20 or 19 tracks. Then I went back and I put the lyrics in. I realized that the melodies that I came up with didn't sound like moments in the scriptures, but when you start putting the songs with the moments, you realize you wouldn't have it any other way. Mary seeing Christ at the tomb sounds like the melody of Come to Him. And when Jesus is turning over tables in the temple and telling them that this is his Father's house and they have made it a den of thieves, the song is played in the background really intensely. He lived to love me. And also when he's carrying the cross, He lived to love me is played. And the Last Supper in the upper room, He lived to love me is also played in that moment. And these moments didn't sound like these kind of moments when I plunked out the tunes on the piano, but when you start orchestrating it and you start putting these melodies together, you are kind of like blown away, like wow. The fact that these tunes have become melodies for these moments has been very gratifying. And I learned this technique from listening to Alan Menken, who would take a simple tune from Hercules, like One Last Hope, and it would suddenly become a street market moment in the big city. And when you listen to One Last Hope, you don't imagine it as a big city sound, but when he puts it into the orchestra in a certain way and the setting, it becomes a reality, and you wouldn't want it any other way.